Absolutely, and we're continuing to focus in on oil while U.S. auto sales rose a healthy 17% last month. Strong truck sales also helping out GM post a 22% gain, pushing its market share higher for the first time in 6 months, while Chrysler saw its sales rate rise 23%. But recent data suggests that many drivers still squeezed by the economy are holding on to their cars for even longer, 10 years or more, in fact. And to keep their vehicles running, they're shelling out several $100s at their local repair shops. The man who knows all about that is Mark Graham. He is the president and CEO of AAMCO. He joins us live on set this morning. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Eric Jackson is still with us as our guest host. What's going on in Egypt? How much does that affect your business?
Actually, Egypt, because we're not in the Middle East, Egypt doesn't affect us that much. You know, certainly we, as citizens, care a lot in a portion of this world, but it really doesn't affect us that much at this point in time.
What about gas and oil prices?
Gas and oil prices, it hasn't affected very much either yet. I think gas and oil prices, or oil prices, are sitting at about $90 a barrel right now. So what could happen as gas prices go up, we'll see the sector of the maintenance industry start to suffer a little bit as consumers take that share of wallet and decide that they need to push it more towards gasoline. They look at their automobile as something that they'll spend X amount of money on, and because of that, an oil change or a car wash or something simple in the maintenance arena might be delayed.
But generally, you are a winner of this recession,
yes,
because folks are holding on to their vehicles for longer and going to the secondary market.
Absolutely. In fact, you know, AAMCO made a strategic decision back in 2006 to take a very strong core transmission business and add to it all things automotive. So today we're one of the only service facilities that do everything to a car. So when you want to have something done to your car to make it like new, AAMCO is the perfect place to do it.
And Mark, we were talking before about some of the challenges that maybe your customers face and how you see that playing out in your business. Can you just talk about, you know, what are some of the challenges that they deal with when they come in for repair, and how you're trying to deal with that? Absolutely.
Well, certainly there's always, you know, the question that they have about, you know, how much do I need to do? And, you know, I think when you're working with a 50-year-old brand like AAMCO, you're a little more comfortable. But, you know, after you get past that point and you understand what you need to do to your car to get it back on the road, you've got the issue of how much money do you have. And of course, this has been a tough economic market, and even though we have moved forward a little bit, and we're in better shape than we were maybe a year and a half ago, it isn't like you can shell out $2,000 or, you know, you've got a credit card that's got the same amount of room, because credit card companies have kind of stepped that down to a lot of consumers. So financing is an issue. And of course, we work with that with our consumers. We've got a lot of innovative ways for them to get financing to work on their cars, but it's still an issue.
Has it been a challenge to try to get that financing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why it said innovative financing. So
getting creative. That's right. That's right. And what about the big guys? I mentioned the GM and the Chryslers of the world jumping about 20%. Does that trickle down to you guys?
You know, it's interesting when you look at the new car companies. You know, we're sitting here talking about how powerful everything is, and they're back to 13 million cars. Well, remember, they were at 16 million cars. So it actually is very good for the aftermarket. I'm absolutely thrilled that the original equipment car manufacturers are doing better, but there are more older cars on the road today, as you mentioned, over 10 years, headed towards 11 years, more miles driven, so that bodes very, very well for the aftermarket. In fact, 78% of the car repair done in the United States is done by the aftermarket, not by the original equipment dealers.
So the jump in auto sales we saw yesterday was about 17%. Yes. That also, I'm assuming, trickles down.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely does. In fact, as those cars are on the road and those consumers decide to keep them and repair them, it certainly works out well for them.
When do you see that?
We won't see it for probably 4 years.
Okay.
So, but keep in mind that the car base is very strong now. We have more cars on the road today than we had, say, 3 years ago. People are keeping them. Good. They're being salvaged less often.
It's good for your business. Mark Graham, great to see you this morning, President and CEO of AAMCO. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Coming up next, we look ahead to the day of trading on Wall Street. Of course, we're getting a reading on jobs.